For the first time when I watched Iron Man, I was like, oh my god, I need to build my 𝗟𝗶. I need to do this. How is this done? And that was the first time that I realized, oh, mama, मेरे को तो software engineering ही करना है, engineering करना है. It's very cool. Then I watched Social Network and I was like, भाई मेरा breakup हो जाए बस. मैं बनाता हूँ Facebook. Doesn't building a real world project cost you capital, right? How do you scale 15k users? Do I need to have load balancers? Do I need to know how all the AWS services work? I'm trying to imply that we are software engineers because we are meant to build something. At core, we are problem solvers. I am 𝗟𝗶ः𝗀𝘀. I dropped out of college last year. I am building 𝗟𝗶ਹੀਂ𝗸𝘀.com since last couple of months.
Hi everyone, can you hear me at the back? All right. Cool. Let me give a brief introduction. This is a small experiment that we're running, which is trying to teach some slightly advanced things in an on-site fashion. First talk is by 𝗟𝗶ः𝗀𝘀. He's going to share how he built this platform called Samay.
I have so many coders in my community, so they are all building something.
So इसमें can we integrate Solana here somehow?
Sure, if they pay me, I can put here. Glad to have you here. Samay Raina और यहाँ पे Solana can be.
I meant an actual use case of Solana.
How many of you know Samay Raina? Few of you. He's a comedian, but he's also too much into chess. So he has built a, what is he? I don't know. I have no idea. He's building something. A website community-like application that 𝗟𝗏ः𝗀𝘀 is leading. The project is open source, so he'll talk about. I would assume he'll talk about how he met Samay and figured the project out and how they coded the project. How can you contribute if you want the tech stack? All these things. All right, cool. I think we can get started. 𝗟𝗏ः𝗀𝘀, take it over.
Yeah. Hi guys. I'll be talking about basically how you are going to build real-world projects and why you should build real-world projects. What's in there for you, and also slightly about the platform that I built. Slightly about myself and some alpha overall. Harkira's talk is going to be like very technical, very hands-on. So I'll try to keep this very light and not try to bore you guys. So a little bit about myself. Yeah, so have you guys seen this meme where this developer just sends this localhost link? Yeah, so that's me. And I'll tell you, in this talk, a lot of times I'll refer back to this and tell you why being this guy is not the worst idea that you can have. I am 𝗟𝗏ः𝗀𝘀. I dropped out of college last year and I've worked as a freelancer close to 8 to 10 months. I'm currently at a front-end engineer at an early stage startup. I am building 𝗟𝗶ਹੀਂ𝗸𝘀.com since last couple of months. It has 15,000 users have signed up. It's still in its beta phase and a lot of features are in the pipeline. And I've worked with 𝗟𝗏 India and 𝗟𝗏base India in the past. Basically, I was into chess in the COVID. So I worked with them and built a couple of broadcast applications and some features. And I was also part of cohort 1 and cohort 2. And a very interesting fact that the first ever bounty that was won in Harkira's cohort was actually me. So yeah, my journey started from there. All right. So today's agenda is going to be what should be your motivation to build real-world projects, why you should build real-world projects, idea to deployment, and some alpha and some resources. All right. So our motivation today, most of our motivation to today is to make money, right? Like a lot of you pop up in the chat, how do I land a remote job offer? Because they are paying you 10x what they are paying you in India, right? A lot of us just are here to make money, which is fair, which is fine. A lot of us have commitments, and that's how this need is, that's why there's the whole need to make money. But like back when we were kids, and the first time we ever heard of software development or engineering as a field, the first motivation, at least for me, and at least I'm assuming for most of you, would be when we watched Iron Man, right? For the first time when I watched Iron Man, I was like, oh my god, I need to build my 𝗟𝗏𝗀𝘀. I need to do this, how is this done? And that was the first time that I realized, oh, mama, मेरे को तो software engineering ही करना है, engineering करना है, it's very cool. That's what I want to do. Second time I watched something, I watched Social Network and I was like, भाई मेरा breakup हो जाए बस, मैं बनाता हूँ Facebook. And So the first question you ask is, when I build a real world project, how do I get started? I don't have ideas, I don't know coding. Okay, I just started, I know basic of HTML, CSS, I know what React does, but can I make a whole real world project and bring users onto that platform is a doubt that all of you have, right? So the first question, I get a lot of DMs also that, oh, you just have 1.5 years experience, how are you working on real world projects? So the only answer to that question is to get started, is to get your hands dirty, right? If you don't start, you would never know that if you would be able to do it or not. You can't assume that you sit down today and you watch like a 6-month, 8-month, 10-month or a 2-year cohort and then you would start building something. You need to start. That's when you would realize that, oh, I need to understand how XYZ works. And that's when you'll actually start enjoying what you are learning. Not like, oh, this JD, this job description requires me to know Kafka, so I'll just sit down and understand how Kafka works in a couple of days. That's not how you should be, you should be moving towards learning something. If you would realize all the youth software developers that have made it great in life, they made it great not because they wanted to be a software engineer. They made it great because they wanted to build an app and then they learned how to build that app over time. So I think that's the best way you should learn, by doing. All right. So when I said that was me, that is literally me. This is, I think, a screenshot of 13 months back. And you can see I just sent something I hosted on 3001 port on a random IP address. This is not my local machine. I at least rented a VM back then. But I did that, right? And I learned over time. I haven't even heard, like at that time, I didn't even hear of NGINX. I didn't know that, oh, there is reverse proxy. Oh, I need to set up certbot. I didn't know all of that. And it was fine. But what took me from there to here is that I was constantly building, constantly trying to do something, constantly showing up every day, trying to build something. I had some ideas. I needed to put it on the computer. And that's what happened. As you can see here, I'm talking about facing some errors and I'm hosting a Flask server, because back then I just knew Python. So I thought, okay, I know a little bit of React. 𝗟𝗶හි𝗸𝘀 ka week 3, week 4 ho gaya. I know a little bit of React. And how do I build the backend? Oh, I know Python. I learned a little bit. So okay, let's make a Flask server and let's make a React. And that's how I made my first freelance project. I priced it around $300. It was a very small amount, but at least that was how I got started. Okay, moving on. Yeah, so it's okay to be the dumbest guy in the room. Like a lot of you are very scared to even ask doubts, ki bhai, this does not even make sense. But that's how you would learn. And it's actually, very preferable that you are in a room where you are the most dumbest guy, because that's how you are going to learn. If you are the smartest guy in the room, I know you all have heard of it. If you are in the smartest guy in the room, you are probably in the wrong room. So it's okay to be the most dumb guy in the room. All right. So what we need to understand that as software developers, at core, we are just problem solvers, right? Like back in the 70s and 80s, when assembly language was a thing, when COBOL was a thing, we needed to write a lot of code. But as times have progressed, the abstraction has increased, and it is very easier for us to write code, right? And as you can see with AI coming, the programming language is going to turn more towards English. Yeah, so the biggest question, what do I build? Like you have a lot of ideas, you have the smallest of ideas, and instantly we reject it, that, oh, this is such a dumb idea, why should I even build it? But the point is that when you start building it, you will pivot into many other things that you would realize is a necessity. The main idea is to get started, because once you get started, you would understand that, oh, there is this requirement, there is that requirement. That's how you need to get started. When I started building bmsamay.com, it wasn't a community platform, it wasn't a website. It started off as an extension, and then we ideated, and then we realized. I'll go over the website also. But all I want to tell you guys is that even if you get the tiniest bit of idea and the smallest bit of idea, all you need to do is try to execute it, bring it to life, and then see how do you take it forward. All right. So I got this Twitter DM yesterday that, okay, you're talking about building a real world project, but doesn't building a real world project cost you capital? right? How do you scale 15K users? Do I need to have load balancers? Do I need to know how all the AWS services work? Do I need to know what is Kafka? Do I need to know how serverless functions work? Do I need to know auto scaling? So all these doubts, of course, come in your head, and maybe except CI/CD, I don't understand all of AWS. Serverless functions, okay, I know what serverless functions are, but I don't know Kafka. I have not implemented auto scaling. I don't know how load balancers work. I am not the best system design guy, but there are 15K users on the platform. So all I'm trying to convey to you is that you don't have to master everything to build a full stack application. You can know 10% of it, 20% of it, and then try to implement things, and you can learn things on the go, and that's the best way to learn. All right. So right now, our Samay platform, the front end is hosted on Vercel. It's a React application. It's not a Next.js application. It's a React application because, of course, Next.js hosting on Next.js gives you a lot of many features, and also there is SEO capabilities. But we realized with Samay's name there, and also the amount of React developers, it's a better option to go ahead with React. And we used React in the front end. In the back end, we are using AWS EC2. And databases currently neon.tech, but I think we'll migrate to AWS only. We'll use RDS or something in the future. And a very important alpha is, if you have a verifiable domain, you don't need to have a startup. If you have a verifiable domain that you can change CNAME records of, you can get $1,000 credits on AWS. Right now, bmsamay.com is running without any cost because we have got $1,000 from AWS, right? So all you need to do is register a domain and go to AWS startups and register there as a startup. You don't need to have a company. All you need to do is have a domain where you can change the CNAME records, and you can get $1,000, and then you can play around, right? I think Amazon services are enough. You don't even need anything else. You can host the front end also on Amazon, and that's how you can get started. This is another great tech stack. I don't know if how active you all are on Twitter, but this 18-year-old kid, 𝗟𝗶ህ, he is very popular, and he's made this super memory AI app. It's a RAG application, and there are close to 1,200 right now. I think there are 2,000 plus users, and he's running that app at the cost of $5.9. And you need to understand that he's also making API calls to the AI models, and all of that in just $5.9. So you need to understand that there is no, you don't need a huge amount of capital to start building something exciting, even if it brings a lot of users. So that's a fear that you should not have. I'll share the link of this stack later. It is using TurboRepo, Next.js, Tailwind. You can use Prisma also instead of Drizzle, NextAuth, Cloudflare D1, Cloudflare Pages, and ShadCN, though everyone knows. All right. Don't let hurdles stop you. So when I was building bmsamay.com, so I'll tell you what the initial idea of the app was. The initial idea was just a random WhatsApp voice note conversation with Samay, and the conversation was that Samay loves, he streams live chess a lot of times, streams for 4-5 hours in a day, or now so he's reduced, but back in the day he used to stream a lot. So is there a way that we could link people's YouTube accounts to chess.com accounts, and he could just view people's chess strength by just hovering over his live chat? It sounds like it sounds like an idea that is very difficult to comprehend. That how is this going to happen? How am I going to link an YouTube account to a chess.com account, especially given that chess.com APIs are fairly limited and they don't even have a public OAuth, right? So I figured that I wrote them a mail that bhai mereko OAuth de do, I want to build this. It will help you only onboard users. But they said they didn't understand what I was trying to build. I had a couple of email exchanges and they didn't understand. So I thought, okay, should I drop the idea of building this? Then I thought about it, and then I realized that, okay, as long as there is no OAuth, we all know how OTP works, right? So when you enter your phone number, OTP is sent. Basically, OTP is sent to verify that that phone number belongs to you. So I thought, why don't we generate a random code and tell people to paste it on their profiles, about section, location or whatever, and then we use the APIs, and then we verify that if they've pasted that or not. So that's a very hacky way to ensure the ownership of the account. So that's how I implemented that. And doing this actually helped me land an opportunity. So this is, I don't know if you have heard, there's a startup called SuperDM. So I don't know how, but I think the SuperDM founder also follows chess. So he was trying to sign up on the platform, and he texted me at like 2 a.m. in the night that, oh, good hack, UI UX. So I told him, I thought, oh my God, my website is so crude even now. A founder like him is going to judge me, and I was like, the website is still very crude, but then he liked it. And then he told me that we have just opened a part-time front-end dev role. Can you put in touch with the engineering team? And then I applied there, they gave me an assignment, and I got through, and now I'm working with them. All right. So all I'm trying to tell you is that if I had dropped the idea that array nahi banega or whatever, it is just a figment of my imagination, and not gone ahead with it, or when I realized that there is no public OAuth, there is difficulties, and if I dropped it, I wouldn't have got this opportunity, right? Even when I was not looking for jobs actively, the founder reached out to me, if you're interested, you can come and join. All right, so something about the website and what we are building. I'll go through the website also once. So until now, it's mostly been built by me. The front end is open source. The back end is not exactly open source right now, because I wanted to make sure that I have some things in place. I have some structure in place before I open source. So currently, I'm working on V2. But yeah, so the website is basically, when I thought of connecting YouTube accounts to chess.com accounts, I thought, what happens when the user signs up? What after that? Like, is the website going to be dead after that? So I discussed with Samay and realized that there are a lot of holes in the chess ecosystem space. Like, for example, if you were to find a chess coach near you, there is no place for you to do that. Chess academies near you, there's no place to do that. If you want to find a friend who is around you and wants to play chess with you offline, there is no place to do that. So we thought, why don't we build a community website, and we keep adding features over time. And that's how the idea basically started. So right now, we just have a welcome page, a community page where stats are there. We have chess news. I just scraped a couple of chess websites, talked to them, made an API. So now there was no place where you could chess news were aggregated. So there's a chess news. Then there are some picked up chess tutorials. All these are non-interactive features, very basic features that I put out because I realized if people are going to sign up on the platform, there needs to be something for them. So, and this is again a very chess-related feature, Guess the ELO, where a random game from the community comes up on your feed, and then you like try to guess the strength of the players. So basically increasing the community engagement. One very exciting feature that we are working on is share your games. Basically, you play a game on chess.com, and now you want to share it, right? So how do you share it? You share the link. But there is no way that you can share it to a group of people where they can comment on a specific move, where they can upvote, where where we are talking about as a community the most upvoted game, the most trending game. So basically a place where Instagram feed where you can share chess games also. So that is being built, and I'll go through the website after I finish the presentation. I want to tell you that when I started, my website still sucks, by the way. All right, my website still sucks pretty much, and I am not unaware of the fact. I know that it sucks, and it will keep getting better over time as I keep working. And I'm not let's say a 100x engineer right now, right? I've just started to learn full stack web development last year. So for me, it's a big deal that I made something and 15K users joined that platform, even though it's because of Samay's name that the 15K users are there. But I'm proud that, okay, the website didn't break, and I've got good messages, good feedback from people. So overall, I'm happy about that. But what I want to talk about is my current website sucks, but my V0 was horrible, right? So if I just show you how when we started ideating, how it looked like. So this was how we were thinking of sign up, right? And this UI UX also, a couple of guys actually did it, not even me. So if you look at this, this was when the website was not even thought of as a community platform. This was when we were thinking of a place where just you connect your account and then you go away from the website, right? So this was the V0, and this was the community page, what we designed, very ShadCN generated simple page. All right. So reiterating on the fact that when you start building your product, it won't be technically perfect. levels.fii scaled to a million or millions of users with just Google Sheets as their backend. So as long as you're providing value, you are doing a great job, right? So in this whole talk, am I trying to imply that you shouldn't focus on writing quality code? No. I'm trying to imply that we are software engineers because we are meant to build something. At core, we are problem solvers. We look at problems and then we try to solve them. Nowadays, how we are looking at software development is just a job, and we are trying to learn things which are on companies' job descriptions. But I think a better way to learn things is to try to build your dream app and try to understand what you need to build. Like you need to to build those features, what you need, and then you start learning that. Like for example, you will only understand why you need a HTTP cookie is when you work on authentication, right? Because even now, if you go to our website, sign up, you would see that the JWT token is in the query params, right? So I know what is the problem in passing the JWT token in the query params. So when you start building, you would realize that, oh, that is why I need to learn HTTP cookie. That's why I need to watch 𝗟𝗶හි𝗸𝘀 16.1. So that's how you'll understand. All right. So a lot of you are in your college, and a lot of questions that when I started building were in my head, and I just hope that you are also thinking this way. Like when you start full stack web development, you should understand the need of a separate backend and a front end. You should know that why do you need a DB? Why can't you have a TXT file where you can just dump information and do operations? Why do you need cookies? What happens if you use query parameters? Like I said, why do you need APIs? Can't we just directly connect to the database from the front end? Like what's the problem? And why can't you build it from scratch? So these are some questions that will come to you when you start building, right? Like if you didn't know anything about, let's say, Next.js front end, a lot of full stack stuff, and you try to build a product, you understand that why do you need a front end and a back end? Why do you need server side actions, right? So you need to understand all of it. Yeah, and a lot of you sitting in the room might not have the best, like you don't have ideas to work on currently. You're like, oh, I don't know what to work on. So this is your best playground. There are a lot of real world projects and very few people are working on it. You can just go look at the issues and get started, right? Like that's the best way to work on a real world project. Or you can also contribute to bmsamay.com. But that's very niche website. At least this is more structured and things are going on at a very faster pace, and you have a lot of people to guide you when you're trying to contribute to this. Like I recently saw that 100xdevs is working on a job portal. So it's like such fun, interesting things that you can work on, and while working on it, you would realize that that you need to learn XYZ to implement certain features, and then you go back to the drawing board and try to learn things. And with ChatGPT and Claude, you can always use it to understand fundamental, solve your fundamental doubts. So I think with ChatGPT and Claude, we at least are 10x engineers, if not 100x engineers. So try to understand the fundamentals of full stack development and just get started contributing to these real world projects. Like the place where you watch the lectures, the CMS, it is open source. Like how. Like I am so, I am very curious to understand how this is working under the hood, and it's right there. So it's like very fascinating for me that you can just open a couple of links and understand how the whole website is working. And I feel that if you also have the same emotion, you would do much better as a software engineer. All right, so this photo is back from last year. This is like 1 year back. You can see 𝗟𝗶හි𝗸𝘀 there. You can see Ayush there, you can see Oshin there. And that was me attending my first tech meetup. And yeah, that time I didn't know anything actually. I just started learning from cohort 1. So most of my learning has been through cohort 1 and cohort 2. I've still not watched all of the videos, but okay, I'll keep learning as I want to implement more things. But yeah, I'm really thankful for this whole community. I'm really thankful to 𝗟𝗶හි𝗸𝘀 for who I am today. And okay, I'm not a big shot today. I'm not a 100x engineer, but I for sure know that I'm in the right space, that I'd keep learning and keep doing better things. Yeah, that's about it. Any questions, like, if you want to? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So a reason to make it open source was that right now there is no direct way of revenue in the website, right? So if there are, and Samay is a very popular creator, so a lot of people just want to contribute to get in touch with him. So if I make it open source, there will be some contributions by people. So if, it just helps me fast, make the process fast. Because right now it does not make sense for the project to hire developers, right? Because it's not making money, and it's not even clear that we want to make money or just provide value. So making it open source was only because so more people could contribute, and basically even finding out issues and just a better thing to do. And mostly I believe that unless like it is, I don't understand why a project should not be open source, right? So yeah, that's about it. Any other question? Yeah. First prototype as in my first project or about BM Samay? Okay, so Samay, I didn't have to advertise, right? Samay just had to share the link. But if you're asking that how I pitched it to Samay, okay, so basically I've worked in the chess space since couple of years, right? So Samay knows that I'm capable of building something. So when we spoke about it, he said, okay, go ahead and build it, and then let's take it forward. So I didn't have to pitch my capabilities to him, because I have built things that people are using. Like for example, if you go to the Chessbase India streams, you see multiple evaluation bars below. That was my first project that I told you about, $300. So that's like been a revolutionary broadcast feature. Like all the other broadcasters have also implemented that, tried to make something similar after I made that. So in the chess space, they know that, okay, he'll make something fine only. Yeah. Any other question? I just realized I was just looking here and talking. There are a lot of people here also. Any questions from here? Thank you, guys. Yeah.
How do you actually open source? Like you go randomly and check what are the issues, or you go particularly to a company and try to study there?
Okay, so there is a detailed session tomorrow, but basically you just first, like if you're interested in the project, used it, you see some issues, or you want to get going with the company, you firstly deploy it to your local machine. You look at the issues. If the code base is too large for you, you look at the PRs that were closed previously, look at how they tried to solve the problem, and if it is a very popular repository, it will have a contributing guide, it will have a Discord server. So go to that server, talk to the developers if you're facing an issue, and start doing. But yeah, you have to start with the issues, right? Yeah.
So this is random, right? We don't target a particular company.
Like people do that for jobs. Like if you realize that, oh, this company just raised funding and they're open source, and it is a good idea to start contributing very aggressively, because that, like 𝗟𝗶h says, that acts like a proof of work. Like for example, 𝗟𝗶h contributed to backpacks repository, right? So that's how it happens. All right, thank you guys.